This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
We learned a lot last time we got together with her. Learned a lot about the art of storytelling. And I knew it was an art. I didn't realize to the degree until I met her. And very vivid stories she tells and gets deep into the historical aspect of a lot of those stories. We're going to pivot from the storytelling side of her to the author side because she's also written some fantastic books, and she's back with us. Carolyn Marshall Stearns is back on the program. How are you doing today?
I'm great today. It's beautiful out.
You are in Connecticut, correct?
I am.
I'm in New York. A little cloudy here today. No concerns, but 70. So beautiful for September. I'm guessing temperature-wise, you're probably about the same up there.
Yeah, it's about 70, but we got clear skies.
Well, bring it on.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. So you've written quite a few books, and I just want to confirm books for students and children and adults, or do you center only on students or middle school?
No, it's for everybody. Especially the first two I wrote with a really broad range of ages in mind, because I thought there was messages there that needed to be heard by young people and adults. Christmas Letters is more of an adult book, but if a kid picked it up and could read it, there's nothing there they can't see.
So I want to focus on that first book, and that one is called How Far is Safe? And I find it intriguing, and I connect with it instantly because I love the period that it focuses on. I'm a big fan of like 1860 to just 1890, 1899, right around there. For me, it was a time where there was a little technology, simpler way of life. There was actual photography, so you could actually see the real deal as opposed to somebody's interpretation of it. And I'm just amazed, even just how they made clothes back then. You look at some of the garments, they could have been made today, and we have machines and so much more. So hats off to that time period. And this book centers right around 1890, right?
Correct, 1890.
Tell us more.
So I work as a fair announcer, country fairs and so forth, and got in with the donkey crowd, owners of donkeys and rescues of donkeys. And over the years, I just fell in love with their sense of being. They are not like horses. I've had horses my whole life. They are just so counter to a horse, whereas fight or flight in a horse, the donkey is just like Eeyore. Milne must have had donkeys in his life because they are, will it kill me today? Maybe not. And then people take it as stubborn. They process slowly. So they'll stand there and stare at it until they decide it's safe to move forward. But you can build an incredible relationship with them, and they live a lot longer because they have less stress in their life than a horse, because they don't accept it.
So I want to center on that. I find that intriguing. Are they intelligent, maybe close to a horse? Because I feel horses are very intelligent, very intuitive. They've got things figured out way more than we ever could imagine. Are donkeys that way, but they just chill a little bit more?
You've got it. They have all that same sensibility, but they are going to assess you longer and deeper than the horse will, to build that bond, especially if they're coming in as a rescue situation where they've already been hurt once.
Sure.
Which goes for any animal who's suffered any kind of abuse or just
trauma,
hunger, or born to the wild and brought in. So they've already come with some baggage that you have to surpass their expectations.
And that would apply to humans, any animal, same situation. I just want to spike in here for a moment that you're on a farm. That's where you are.
Yeah. So. I write country because I know country. and was raised doing many things in the 1700s period style. So entire Thanksgiving dinners cooked in the fireplace with my parents in the colonial home. I've walked oxen across Eastern Connecticut. Not too many people can call that claim.
Mm.
And, so I've lived and experienced a lot of these things. And so many of the comments I get back on my books is people could see what was happening and understood it in that time frame because the detail was there.
Yeah, it's authentic. You're living the life. Uh, and so great to clear up the misconception about donkeys because they're just viewed as the dumb work animals. What do they even know? They're just whatever. They're almost forgotten. Whereby horse prances in, and now you have this regal, amazing big animal. Donkeys get a bad rap.
They do. They do. And so that inspired me to write this book. I hand wrote it and I took my time.
Hmm.
So the first round of edits was getting it into a computer because I really wanted to think about, and I write as a pantser. I write by the seat of the pants. I don't plan the story ahead and outline it all out. And this is what's going to happen in chapter 11. Nope. I just sit down, start writing. And
Hmm.
the story tells me what to say. And often there's revelations of what I bring to the paper because I wasn't expecting to go that way. Now, there is a tiny bit of abuse in the beginning of this book that launched this boy and the donkey that he loves so much on their epic journey, and is set on the epic journey arc of storytelling. And so they have to surmount all these odds to come to where they are. But I was very careful in wording the moments of that turning point in their lives
Hmm.
and the recognition it wasn't going to get better and that they had to do something and there was no safety net in place for them as there are in today's societies.
Sure. Sure. 1890 we're talking here, and looks like the intention of this book is for the reader anywhere from like middle school to adult. Would that be accurate?
Yeah, fourth grade, a good reader in fourth grade would have
Okay.
no trouble with it. The language is simple.
Hmm.
It's not elementary, but they're going to pick up any nuances and any new words because they're within a good context. Uh,
Yeah. And, I want to just circle back to what you said about how you physically wrote the book on paper. Scientifically proven that the connection between the mind and the hand is so powerful where what really is inside flows out of you. And they even suggest that we should journal, but write it down, not type it. And that's how they did it back in the old days. And look at the great works of, you know, written work has come from that. So bravo to you for doing it that way. I know, kind of a pain in the butt. We have to transcribe it over, to a
but you're going to
keyboard.
do it anyway. You're going to edit a gazillion times. So it
Sure.
really, and reading aloud helps you
Mm,
find the things that, if it sounds coarse, it's written coarse, fix it.
yeah.
So I read everything back aloud to myself.
So where did the boy connect with the donkey?
So the boy was sent to live with an uncle on the farm. The donkey was there, and um, he's pretty much a slave to the uncle, whose alcohol is a problem
Mm,
and his temper. And so when the boy leaves, he's promised the donkey it will never happen to donkey again. He's not concerned for himself. And so all threaded through the book is his kindness going out constantly and how it comes back to him. A message we need in the world today is just keep giving kindness. And no matter what's coming your way, be kind and it
yeah.
will come back. And resilience, that we need to bounce back. We need to say, that was horrible, I'm moving on. And
Mm,
those are lessons that sometimes we all need to be reminded of because we get bogged down in strife and
sure.
conflict.
Well, it's a great word, resilience, where you should get to a point in your life where you have confidence, hope, faith I'm not talking faith, religion. If you want to tie that in, you can, but I'm not going there. I'm talking about faith in yourself, faith that things are going to work out. Where, we all deal with situations where you take steps back and like, how could that even happen? But how fast you bounce back, I guess, is the resilience that you have. And you keep practicing that. I feel in my journey, it gets easier, gets
Right,
easier.
right. And I think demonstrating it in the book for young readers is important to know that, well, this is how he handled that bad situation. And, to look at themselves and say, am I doing the same?
Mm,
And that's a deep thought to put upon a child, but we know they're very intelligent and they're going to ponder something they read that moves and touches them. And he really struggles in this journey, but there are some really light moments and some really picturesque moments and moments of personal victory, like
mm.
mounting that first really big Pennsylvania. It takes place from center of Pennsylvania up towards the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area. And some of those hills are like mountains. If you were walking, we can whiz over the highway on them, but every time I drive that route, I'm reminded he walked it in. It's fiction, but um and you look at the size. Back then people did that all the time.
Oh
You
yeah,
wanted to get to the other side, you were going to climb that hill.
without thought. It's just this is what we need to get done, and we're going to do
Yep.
it. As opposed to, oh, I can't believe I got to go over that. It was just a given. This is what we do.
Yeah.
I want to bring to the forefront here some of the things that you're identifying in this book: resilience, celebrating the little wins, and also the word safe. Ask any psychologist, what do we all want? Humans, we want to feel safe in every situation. Always feel safe. Sometimes that holds us back because we fall onto old habits because they feel safe. They may not support us, but it just feels safe. But these are the themes that I don't know if that was intentional, but it's all there in the book. Was there a reason that you called it How Far is Safe and went down that road, maybe literally?
In looking at what he was escaping, he was measuring safety in miles. He
Okay.
had to get far enough he knew the uncle would not pursue him to bring him back.
Hmm.
So in that way, it represents the journey. But the safe also comes with who he meets along the way, who begin to make him feel safe in their presence because his experience with adults has not been positive. And so he has to meet many adults along the way to learn to measure them up and what feels safe and comfortable, and what his expectations of a safe home are and how they develop over time.
What a concept. Knowing that you could be pursued by a family member that you're trying to get away from, and you're trying to, as a young boy, trying to decide, is this safe enough? Is this a safe enough distance where I don't have to keep looking over my shoulder? I can feel, that I'm okay at the moment. A lot of adult themes here.
It is a very adult book, but yet readable by kids, and kids who have read it, they are focusing on the piece that they need to see. So
Mm,
some of them want to get a donkey and give it at that home, and some want to um, see those kinds of farms and experience those kinds of daily living chores and events. And there's a night where he gets incredibly dirty in the mud, saving someone's newborn calf. And he takes a bath. He has to be bathed, but he's in a barrel out in the yard because it's midsummer and that's what people did back then.
wow. Why a donkey?
Because of how they stole my heart when I work with them at the shows.
Okay. Wow.
They, I just adore them. They have very long lives. And boy, when you have one that commits to you and you see that partnership grow, and I've seen some of them come out of rescue, come back year after year to an event I announce, And you see the first year there's a struggle between them, and the second year the donkey's like, okay. And the third year it's let's go. And you see the bond building between the handler and that donkey, and understanding that growth of both of them in understanding the other and giving them the time, love, and space they need to develop that relationship.
Wow. I'm seeing donkeys in a whole new light. And I, like everybody else, that's what the perception was. Yeah, I don't want to call them dumb animals. I'm just call them very chill, unconcerned. They're just here to work. That's about it. I sound like Eeyore. I'm not trying to, but I guess that's where that
Because
came
he was
from.
spot on with them.
I guess that's what it is. And I mean, you just look at them, a horse, as soon as you're in the presence of a horse, I sense they got you. They already figured you out. If you're not fitting, their profile of safe, it's just not happening. But it's refreshing to know that donkeys are piloting the same way. Hmm.
It is. I always look forward to the shows that I go to, and the rescue events and educational events where people bring their donkeys to educate the public about them. And I'm the voice while they're out in the show ring doing things with them. I'm talking about the work it takes to get them there, the history of donkeys. They're different. There's so many different kinds around the world. And species, just like there's different kinds of horses or different kinds of dogs, that there's many varieties of donkeys as well.
Well, wasn't even aware of that. Amazing. Uh, um, you've written a number of books, and they've also gotten awards or became finalists in award presentations. What's on your radar now? I got to believe somebody like yourself, especially a storyteller, you've got this need to feed that passion inside to tell a story. Anything percolating in your mind right now?
I have a book that's about ready to come out, another novel. And it's about generational transition in family business, which is always a struggle. Which kid gets it, is the constant, and how do we pass it on, and how does that happen, and do they want it? And then,
Mm.
but I've put it on a apple orchard and a dairy farm, write what you know. And I've set the characters, the counterpoint, the older generation and these young people, and what their expectations are and what they bring to it. And the older generations, we always have done it this way. And so it makes them not antagonistic, but having a hard time to understanding where the others are coming from because they were raised in a different time.
Even being in a family business is challenging. I've done podcasts with business coaches that just focus on family businesses because it's not easy. Difference of opinion, favoritism, business passed on, one working hard, the other not pulling the weight, and all of that. So that's an interesting dynamic. Now put it on a farm.
Yep. And perceived favoritism.
There's so much going on there.
Yeah, because we often think somebody thinks more of the other one, and it may not be so, but it may be how it comes across to you. And yeah.
Oh yeah. And that's a great point. I have a twin sister. I've had conversations with her before where she has said, well, mom favored you in this regard and that. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know what you mean, but that's perception is reality. And I might say the same thing, about that. I don't know, whatever. It's the perception, but, interesting book topic. Where are you at with that? Is that just the concept right now? Have you started?
Oh no, it's all written, been through editing and proofing. I just need to tidy up a few pieces and get it back to my editor and book designer.
Wow.
I've been purposefully dragging my feet on it, and that it's okay. I wrote it in 2019. We both have to be ready, the book and I, for that to come out.
It's
So
interesting that you say that because it's almost as if the book is a living, breathing entity.
it is.
Yeah.
It Yeah, they all are. And when you open a box and you take that book out of the box the first time and you hold your book,
Yeah.
oh my God, that is overwhelming powerful that, I did it. I did it. Look at that. It's
I got you.
huge.
When I was younger, I almost became a syndicated cartoonist. I was in my low 20s, and I drew cartoons since I was, 9. Always wanted to get into radio too, and I was already in that profession of radio at 17, but I was still cartooning. And I still remember even in the high school newspaper when they published my cartoons, and then when the community paper did it. And I'm talking about tabloids, like real newsprint. Same feeling, like just turn page. There is my cartoon. Oh my gosh. It is just, and then you refer back to it like an hour or two later, like there it is again. Same thing with the book. I got to believe like it just,
Yeah,
it's exciting. And
it
you
is.
know what? Isn't it a part of you that you're sharing with somebody else and the excitement that you're able to do that where somebody can get enjoyment, insight, just pleasure from reading your book? It's got to make you, that's got to be part of it, right?
And it's a legacy because a
Mm,
book lasts longer than we do.
mm.
And so the how far is safe? The root of the boy's journey is the root of my oldest two grandchildren coming home to grandma.
How do you mean?
They live in central Pennsylvania. They drive right through up through Wilkes-Barre,
Wow.
Scranton. And so they got it at a pivotal age, upper elementary school, read it, and then they were coming to visit and called, Grandma, I saw the river. We crossed it, and it just, they were taking the journey. The book was in their mind. They were seeing the landscape and seeing the loss of the agricultural landscape in that journey
Mm.
because
It
the big valleys were all farm and they've very much turned all shopping mall.
it's amazing when you think back to books you've read, maybe movies you've seen, if you're intentional about the memory, you don't really forget them. Sometimes there's pieces that you forget and then you circle back, you watch it again, you read it again, but it's etched in your mind. It's amazing how that works, right?
It is, it
Mm.
stays. And at some point in time, I won't be here, but people will know my thoughts
Yeah.
and know what I cared about. And
Do you,
they'll,
are your books registered with the Library of Congress?
I don't know. Good
Hmm.
question.
I want to just for preservation purposes and have it out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the title of How Far Is Safe. Now I get it. Now I got it.
Yeah. An
Uh,
epic journey.
yeah. And one with some angst, one with some, excitement, one with the having an animal friend. And I get that too. My dog, my bud. Like, it's just, he may piddle here and there and, things like that. But I can't get mad at him. He's doing what he thinks he should be doing, and just the companionship and all of that. How do we find out about the books? I mean, you do storytelling. You're in Connecticut. You'll travel depending on the situation. Is it everything? Just go to your website.
Yeah, go to my website. The books are all over on Amazon, and there's an author page for me there as Carolyn Stearns, and they're listed there. And you can read reviews and read some of the sample. How they'll flip it open, and you can read a little bit of it on the site so that people get an idea of what they're purchasing.
Excellent. Great having you on again today, Carolyn. And just
Oh, my pleasure.
even you telling the story of the book was so impactful. And
Oh, thank you.
this is what you do. Once again, share the website with everyone.
Carolyn Stearns, Storyteller.com.
Looking forward next time we have you on here.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. We'll be right back.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.